Very good morning. Large moves across the board with EURUSD pushing down lower yesterday. Still no real follow through, but a beautiful drop on pound USD, which I'll be showing you in a second. Good morning, guys. Fabio here, and welcome back to another daily market update. We have some big updates for you. First of all, Trump mentioned that we are doing well with China, but China is not easy. Trump told this to reporters at the White House on Monday, but he said that he is only getting good reports. Now, we haven't really had any major news update come from these London discussions between China and the United States, but we already have seen some dollar strength. Now, if any good news in relation to this specific topic comes out today, that there is some form of progress, that there is some form of a deal being closed, this will push the dollar up higher and EURUSD significantly lower. Furthermore, Besant told reporters in London that they had a good meeting, and Lutnick called the discussions fruitful. These are, simply said, the most important people who are now having those conversations with the Chinese. Now, furthermore, the pound made a massive drop. Some of you who are in GBPUSD, I know a lot of you are, because if you are inside the Discord server, I shared a beautiful chart there of GU yesterday. Obviously, as well, in the market outlook, I mentioned that shorts were on the table. But this is exactly what I mean with a massive difference in, let's say, unexpected news and anticipated news. Now, most of the times when we talk about interest rates, this is news that is expected, like a rate cut that is expected. But today and this morning, specifically around 1.5 hours ago, estimates for payrolled employees in the UK decreased by 55,000, so 0.2% between March and April, and fell by 115,000, so 0.4% between April 2024 and April 2025. Now, this is unexpected news, and that is why the pound is dropping so hard. So when these kind of unexpected news events come, that is when the market really starts to push, and that's what has pushed the GBPUSD down lower. Now, talking about the technicals specifically, EURUSD did start to push down lower as of yesterday and as of this morning. Obviously, the 4-hour fractal has still been respected. Very simply said, the 4-hour fractal high is this high over here. The current fractal high, this here is the current fractal low. We were traced in towards that supply zone, and then from there we started selling off after taking out this internal high that we had over here. Now, on the 4-hour time frame, some of you might not see it, but here on the 1-hour time frame, it is a pretty nice high that we have over here inside of this area of supply. No real liquidation in the overmove down. Yes, you could consider this liquidity over here, this high, but as I mentioned as well in yesterday's video, like demanding control, demanding control, demanding control, demanding control, and then boom, here we get the fractal break. So this low break over here, which was done with the indicator, that was the fractal low break. Then this becomes supply. We were tracing to supply here. Initial reaction, liquidation of the initial reaction. Oof. You see the smile on my face, guys. It just makes me warm and fuzzy when I see these kind of setups. This is the kind of market conditions that I want to be seeing. Target back down towards the low. Just absolute beautiful scenes. Now, I was able to capitalize on this myself here. As you can see, this is one of my FTMO accounts, which I started back in February. So March, April, May, June. So I've been trading this FTMO live account for around 4 months now. You can see the balance is now back at $101,000. So you can see since a long time, actually, this account have been in drawdown. It was actually all the way at 96.5K, so around 4.5% drawdown for quite some period. But thanks to GBPUSD, I was able to get this account out of a loss. So I got a 3.1 lot for a 100 pip position, which took me around 20 hours. So this was a GBPUSD short that I took yesterday, literally based on the market outlook that I did today. Now you can see here my other positions that I was in. It started pretty much with a dollar yen long and an NZD Swiss long. Now, dollar yen did pretty well for around a 300 pip return in around 47 days. But you can see some of these other positions which I scaled into last month. So dollar Swiss, AUD Swiss, USD SEC, they haven't really moved too much. Obviously, they've been taken with smaller lot sizes, but they haven't really been moving too much. So that's why yesterday I decided to take GBPUSD, yielded an amazing return. And yeah, thanks to that, this FTMO account is now ready for a payout once again. So just giving you some backstory that I'm actually also trading these positions that I'm discussing here, obviously in the market outlook every single morning. So that's nice on that side of things. Now for EURUSD, obviously I'll be looking for further downside, a further follow through in towards the lows. But yeah, today there are developments needed in relation to those trade discussions. So let's keep an eye on what the 1 hour does, what the 15-minute time frame does. I want to see how the market reacts to this 15-minute area of supply. It's a strong area of supply. Why? Because it liquidated the previous high that we had here to our left. However, obviously we are now later in the leg, right? So yes, this is an area of supply, but obviously you kind of like want to be scaling in over here, because if we look at, for example, the 1 hour time frame, And let's say this is your break of structure, this is your swing high, this is your swing low, this is the 0.5 fib, right? Now, this is lower in the leg. So the lower you are in the leg, the riskier obviously it gets, because the market could come back to, for example, take out the highs and then, for example, still start dropping, because the overall market structure on on EU, excuse me, is obviously pretty consolidative, especially over here. Again, you can see pretty consolidated price action. But yeah, overall looking for that follow through on EURUSD. So I'll be looking for those further short positions into today. Now, the dollar index itself pushed up higher as expected. Obviously, looking at the 4-hour time frame first, we mentioned yesterday, and again, you can just watch back yesterday's video, that this here was the demand zone, which I highlighted. Overall, looking for that, or I looked for that demand zone to hold, because if I looked at the weekly time frame, we again have a weekly fractal bullish structure. And this is exactly what I explained in yesterday's video. We kind of come underneath the low of the range. This was the high of the range. So how did we, at the time when we took out the high of the range, how did we identify the reversal down? We waited for the weekly change of character. At that point in time, this became supply, that pushed the market down lower. Now we've come underneath the range, and again, what do we identify? The weekly change of character. Now, we're here at the lows of the weekly change of character, so for me, it's a very nice area to buy. Even, let's say, if the fractal structure doesn't get respected, I'm still happy to be in those longs, because this is just a good area of value overall. Obviously, getting in here is a lot riskier, but getting in here is a good area of value, especially with the weekly fractal being bullish. So looking now at the 4-hour time frame, we can see that the 4-hour is bullish at the moment. Looking here and just removing those fibs, we can see that price squeezed in towards the downside, showing a decline in the overall bearish momentum. It took out some equal lows here to our left. Now, taking out equal lows, again, which you can kind of see like as a liquidity void, but it did push up or it did push down lower in towards, let's say, the area of consolidation that we had over here. So this is like a drop basing structure rally. So this is obviously market people getting in with the V-shaped reversal. So we liquidate, we tap into demand, we come in with kind of like slow down with, let's say, we take out the low, reversal, take out the low, just a wick and a reversal with the V-shaped reaction. That's why this is a strong area of demand. So I'm looking for the dollar to follow through, especially if we get some positive news related to the dollar somewhere today. Moving into AUDUSD, obviously AU pushed down lower with that positive news development on the dollar side. So I wouldn't really want to be too much in the Australian dollar against the US dollar at the moment, just because it's so dependent on what is going to be said on the news side of things. But overall, I mean, the overall analysis still stands where the daily fractal is still bullish. The 4-hour is also bullish. But again, this is kind of like what I have with AU. You break a high, you retrace, you take out a high, you retrace. Like, we're currently trading at the premium, at the highs. So I'm not really too inclined to get into long positions on AUDUSD anymore. I'm more kind of looking for like one more push up above that liquidity high, and then maybe start to get into some short positions again. Also, such ascending and corrective price action, this is just not for me. I'm more looking at GBPUSD and EURUSD. Now, going into GBPUSD, this is obviously the trade that I took yesterday. We can see a beautiful, beautiful push in towards the downside. I mean, what can I say? I don't think it needs a lot of explaining. Daily fractal structure is now bearish as well. Let me just get onto a clean chart, because this one is a little bit dirty maybe for you guys. If we look here at the daily structure, what you can now see is that we came in towards the highs pretty much with this ascending corrective price action. Like, we're squeezing in towards the highs, right? We have the extended move, then we have high number 1, high number 2, and then a fake out on that second high. This is what back in the day, some of you who maybe watch my YouTube videos for a longer period of time will remember. Fake out on the second high, boom, retrace down. Now, looking at that fake out, what is it now provided? It's now provided us with a daily fractal structure break, meaning this is now your supply zone. So if GU retraces, I'll be looking for some more shorts in towards this week, especially if the dollar on the weekly fractal structure can continue to push up higher. Mainly this trade was taken obviously with like, one, we take out the equal highs that we have here to the left. So boom, liquidity grabbed. We see just a wick rejection, to me, indicating, okay, fake out, pushing towards the downside. A 4-hour fractal structure was bearish, with this being the fractal high, this being the fractal low. You retrace exactly all the way up in towards that 4-hour supply zone. We take out this wick over here, which for me was liquidity. Again, on the 1 hour time frame, just some beautiful price action. You had kind of like this fresh buy before the sell over here, and that eventually pushed the market down lower. Now then, what did we get? We get the push up, push down, push up, push down, push up, push down, push up. Here, 1 hour fractal structure change. That is where I got in. You can literally check out the position that I shared inside Discord. So link to the Discord is in the description of this video. And then I was targeting the equal lows. And I even set my target lower. I don't even remember where I said it, but this thing is just going absolute bananas, man. Absolute beautiful, beautiful price action. And I set my target, I think, over here. But I took some partials on a position with this stop loss. And I also took a position with this stop loss, which is running around 1.7%. So 2 positions, 1 swing position, and then 1 intraday position. Yeah, both absolutely played out to absolute perfection. Now moving on from GU into NU. NU, very similar to AU, very choppy and messy just because the dollar is strong, but then again, the New Zealand dollar and the Australian dollar were also strong, right? So this is why I'm mainly focusing on like EU and GU, because these currency pairs are pairs that are kind of like on one side of the spectrum and the other side of the spectrum, where let's say AU and NU, and let's say, so the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, the US dollar, these are all risk on pairs at the moment. So you don't really want to be trading these against each other, because then you get in these kind of market conditions, which are mainly driven by the fundamentals, you get very slow price action on these pairs, which we've been seeing over here. That's why I preferably trade like a pair like EU and GU in these market conditions. So that's not really looking to trade this anymore, just very consolidative. Again, mainly focusing on EU and GU, but overall, I mean, yeah, you can kind of see what's happening, right? So we break a high, retrace, break a high, retrace. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see somewhat of a deeper correction for now. I'm really not liking the overall price action for buys, despite me still wanting to trade in towards that liquidity high. Now, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, and gold, guys. Dollar Swiss, first of all, slow. Not too much to say about this. Nothing really happened. Still looking for longs, though. But yeah, we'll remain on the sideline for now on that. But dollar yen, on the other hand, did exactly what we wanted, guys. I'm not sure if you were there again in yesterday's market outlook, but remember what I said: resistance, support, resistance, resistance, boom, support. Exactly what I was looking for. So beautiful turnaround from here. Again, a lot of traders looking to go long from this demand zone. This is where you need to be sharp. We don't randomly go long on this demand zone over here with stop loss underneath the lows like this, and then got stopped out, because guys, there is no liquidity in the overall push up, right? There's no liquidity in the overall push up. So what happens? The demand zone itself becomes liquidity, and then you reverse. Then here, 1 hour fractal structure change, this becomes demand, and then from demand you fly up higher. So then inside of that demand zone on the 15-minute time frame, you could have looked for a long position. So let's say over here, you take out all of these ascending lows here, which is your liquidation. And then you can start looking for longs from, for example, this demand zone. Again, kind of like liquidates range liquidity, some nice price action overall. Not the cleanest of price action, but mainly on the 1 hour time frame, it was very clear to me that there were some longs on the table yesterday. Now we're leaving behind some equal lows, so do keep that in mind, but overall still looking for longs on dollar yen. So some nice price action there, but I'm looking at some consolidated price action on this. But let's see what today said on Trade Talks. Again, any progress on Trade Talks will push dollar yen up higher. Then last of all, of course, we have gold. So gold was looking for longs yesterday. First of all, on the daily time frame, what I'm mainly looking at here is this daily area of demand. Obviously, we are bullish on gold. We have a big push up over here. Then we have the corrective phase, which happened until this wick over here. And then we are now again in the impulsive phase, looking for further longs. So going into the 4 hour time frame, what I'm then mainly monitoring here is the fact that, okay, we took out these ascending lows as a liquidity. We retraced into that daily demand zone, which is also pretty much a 4 hour demand zone. Then I see that the fractal high of the 4 hours all the way up here. So am I going to wait for that 4 hour fractal high to break? No, I go down to the 1 hour. And then what I identified on the 1 hour yesterday was this, that we had a push down, pull back, push down, pull back, push down, boom, push up. We retraced into the lows, into demand. And then from there, we pushed up higher. So there were some 50-minute longs to be taken yesterday. Congrats if you did take them. And yeah, overall, what you obviously had here was like a low sweep. Then here on 315, so around New York Open, push up, demand, and then continuation again. So there was a nice long position here on gold yesterday to be taken. Not a lot of return, to be honest, not the best risk to reward. But now again, we've come down lower, again, taking out early buyers. Now we've just seen a 1 hour fractal structure shift. So early buyer stop losses get stopped out. Here, 1 hour fractal structure shift. So I'll be looking for some longs again on gold in towards today. So that's it for today, guys. We're going live for the New York session, by the way, here on the channel at 2:30 Central Eastern Time. So make sure to be there. Link can be found in the comment section of this video. Make sure to leave a like and a comment on the video because support is always appreciated. Thanks for watching and see you.